Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 3 of Ninjas in Pajamas versus Virtus.pro and what could be the very last game for NiP in the DreamLeague Finals. For the fans out there, I think they're still cheering for NiP, but the odds are stacked against them.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult taking 3 games in a row, but good for them that they get the Queen of Pain that I think they're very comfortable with. As Shiver mentioned, it's a hero they've played on Era with great success, so I could definitely see that being a strong opener for them. VP not going to be too unhappy with their trade-off, of course. They got the Gyro for Illidan as well as the Rubik for FNG, which is really good, or Lil for that matter, which is really good against both the Queen and the Shaker. Great spell steals available. Sonic Wave, Blink, and on the Shaker, of course, the Fissure that we saw definitely have an impact last game. Yep. FNG didn't get the best Fissures, but he got some that definitely did help them out in the fights. And
sometimes all you just need is to throw out Fissure, because that alone just... We never saw like vacuum into 3-man Fissure, but I don't think you need to do that. Just an extra stun, a stun that NiP was not prepared for was all you need. Look at the bans that NiP are throwing out, the Darkseer as well as the Visage, just the respect, and these heroes were very difficult to deal with. And now we're gonna see Wraith King on Virtus.pro. So
change of pace.
Who's gonna be playing? The support Wraith King, I guess?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
I don't see G playing either Gyro or Wraith King mid. Meanwhile, NiP is going to pick up the Winter Riven themselves, which is actually pretty decent against Wraith King.
Is that a first?
It is.
I think it is, right?
I want to say it is, yeah.
I don't recall seeing NiP playing the Wyvern, so pretty interesting here. Of course, decent when you're against a combination of heroes like Wraith King, Gyro, short range / melee, so there's a good chance they will be next to each other in fights. And that's also going to be great for the Fissures coming out from... Most likely in this game, I think it is going to be a support Shaker. They are in the Dire. Or well, actually, it's hard to say. Let's wait on that a bit and see what VP plan. Wraith King support is something that completely disappeared. I'm not sure why, actually. I think he definitely still has his merits. He's one of those supports that you can't just go on and burst down since he has reincarnation. Kind of similar in logic to how the Abaddon is difficult to kill at level 6.
Yeah, I was going to make that comparison, but is Abaddon just better? Because he not only can you not go on him, but he really deters you from going on his allies either, because he could debuff the stuns or whatever else.
They do 2 very different things. Wraith King is much better for the early aggression and for the roaming, which VP play every game, right, more or less. So I actually think that could be an interesting pick for the Grand Finals, regardless of whether it's VP or NiP in it against Na'Vi. There's a lot of stuns being drafted these days, and Abaddon could definitely find a place somewhere. But we'll see. They're going to grab the Shadow Fiend for NiP, so sticking to their guns, Limp on one of his best heroes. And now I'm curious to see if this is a support Shaker or not. And obviously VP don't know for sure. They are going to expect that it is, banning out the Phoenix, that I believe NiP only play in a core position on Jonas. I don't think they ever played support. And if it is support, I think they're going to be like, fine, you can have your double dragon supports that have minimal to no synergy, and we will just gank you with our great synergy among our supports.
I feel like a Clockwork for NiP would do very well here. You're up against a lot of melee heroes. The mana burn is going to be nice, especially against a charge. Even though Spirit Breaker could charge through the cogs, his teams can't assist as nicely. And it's a hero that Johannes fan play extremely well.
Yeah, it is definitely a good pick here, I would agree. The risk, of course, is hookshotting in on... You're picking it into Rubik, who can take it out of the cogs, and you're picking it into Gyro, who can actually man-fight you decently well, so...
And a Wraith King who doesn't really care being solo-initiated on.
There are pros and cons. I wouldn't say it's a great pick. I wouldn't say it's a bad pick. It's definitely solid, and it's maybe most importantly for NiP, a comfort pick for them that they definitely know that they can pull off. I'd like to see what VP's last pick is first, though. It looks like they will be getting a mid laner as the final pick, unless they want to do some funky dual lane mid with a Wraith King core. Then that should probably be what we're looking at here. It's going to be Wind Ranger for G. One of his best heroes that just doesn't get picked much these days, but he knows how to land the shackles.
And when you do land the shackles, sometimes you could just win the team fight based on the back of that. Virtus.pro looking like they want to wrestle the early game away from NiP, because 2 games in a row, it's Ninjas in Pajamas taking control of the early game. But if you look at Rubik, the Wraith King stun, and of course the backup, the Spirit Breaker charge, if you're fighting randomly in the river, you could be in a lot of trouble.
Absolutely, they're going to need some more fighting. And I'm saying that for a team that has Shaker, Wyvern, Shadow Fiend, and Quap, which have ridiculous AoE damage, I think they might need some single target control somehow, because Like, the clock is one option just to be able to catch someone in the cogs and spread the fight out a bit. Because VP are going to be skirmishing all over them in this game with the Spirit Breaker, especially. And they, at the very least, have the defensive support of the Wyvern and Shaker to help out deter the ganks. Even then, we could see the stereotypical VP versus NiP game where VP just keeps roaming multiple lanes and NiP tries to TP defend. They succeed half the time, the other half they die, and the half they succeed, they don't get a counter kill, they just save, and then they lose all their money on buying TP scrolls and don't really put pressure anywhere. So,
how do you feel about Centaur giving you a stun and turning on Stampede as the Wraith King dies, so it's just slow, doesn't really affect
decent.
you? I think the laning will be extremely difficult though against Rubik Gyro.
Yes, he does not do well against that lane. So I don't know. I honestly, if you look at VP's heroes, there's like no one who lanes well against Gyro, Rubik, Wraith King.
Slardar.
Right?
What is this lane?
Off lane.
This can't be good
For Jonas. It can be good.
I mean, it can if he gets away with it, but I feel like there's just so many stuns in the early game that he's going to have a very tough time.
It's possible they're going to try to run an aggressive tri lane, or going to do 2-1-2, where they run, let's say, Shaker Quap bottom, and then they safe lane the Wyvern with Slaughter. That should easily be able to deal with a Spirit Breaker on their own, and then the bottom lane Quap will definitely be getting something. If she does get lifted by Rubik, they can always counter initiate with the Fissure out of Hanskin, and then get Quap out of there. It's just, I don't know. I'm not sure how sold I am on NiP's draft here. If they get farm on their cores, they're going to have a ridiculously strong mid game. This could be one of those games where the laning phase could very quickly fall apart if they're not careful.
All right, let's quickly talk about the Virtus.pro side, who is on match point. If they win this one, they're going to Grand Final, and Na'Vi is waiting for them. Illidan Stormrage playing that Gyrocopter once again. We have DK Phobos on the Spear Breaker. FNG support Wraith King. We saw Core Wraith King from Alliance, did not work too well. Let's see if the support variant is going to do a little bit better. G playing on the Wind Ranger mid lane. Did I forget anybody? Little on the Rubik.
And for NiP, we just saw Jonas Samfan in the enemy jungle warding out. He's playing the Queen of Pain. We've got Era onto Shadow Fiend Hanskin, playing as the Earthshaker. We've got the Seal Kid Winter Wyvern. And finally, of course, Limp on the Slaughter that he played exceptionally well against Alliance. That might just be the fallback plan here for NiP. All right, we've tried different stuff. It didn't work. Let's play the strat that we won one of our key games with, that we're comfortable with, the minus armor strategy. And then you put in some plus armor indirectly as well with the Cold Embrace through the Wyvern. So you're very strong in the physical fighting engagements. You just need to be careful with the nukes away.
They still retain their great rotation heroes early on with the Arctic Burn and Fissure for the support. So I feel like the kills are still available to them. I think they're going to need to help the bottom lane a little bit. The Fissure does help the Queen of Pain, so she's going to get instantaneously level 2. Is this the matchup where you actually skill Shadow Strike just to say, all right, get away, Rubik, don't come in and harass me, or do you just worry about the nukes and the Scream of Pains?
Well, you already win the one-on-one against Rubik because you have 8 tangos and you have 2 armor and you have better damage. Like, just in a flat-out exchange of blows, he's always going to win against the Rubik. So I don't think Shadow Strike is needed, and I don't think he's even going to get an opportunity to cast it, to be honest. If he starts going into the cast animation, he's going to get lifted and then stunned by FNG. Getting experience here for Jonas is going to be very difficult. I'm actually very surprised that they chose not to help him out with Hanskin in the start more than they have.
They helped him with the block, but that's pretty much it.
But it wasn't enough. So either he failed the following block, or they didn't time the Fissure block well enough. I feel like this lane is further down than it should be. Maybe VP just got a really good block of their own.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Oh, they're doing a good job.
Mid lane, Jeeps. He's getting hit hard by Era.
He does have the salve, but he's pretty far away from the bottom. Sorry, I think I was cutting you off as you were saying.
Yeah, Era actually went for Necromastery level 1 here and still managed to put a lot of pressure, which is a great sign for the mid lane as G trying to trade with Era. Is he going to get the power shot? He's trying for it. Does not land. Era will be salving up. And now this mid lane is more or less won for NiP if they keep the pressure up. G, like you said, far away from the bottle. He can just, Era can start raising him a couple of times once he cracks level 3, and he will have to wait for the cooldown of these tangos. Actually going to buy another salve is G to send out to that lane.
Top lane here, DK Phobos being forced to charge out, but he's charging straight into Hanskin, which the Fissure actually doesn't hit, so DK Phobos will keep going. The rune will spawn, and right now DK Phobos working on that Greater Bash, and will secure the rune for himself.
Oh, that's a good rune for Spirit Breaker. His Greater Bash hits pretty hard when you have a haste, I heard.
Especially when you proc it.
Which
is pretty much guaranteed, right? Like,
yeah. 17% of the time, it stuns 100% of the time.
Actually, Johannes fan, double points into Shadow Strike. So
Phobos is just gonna run in mid against Era. Did he get 2 points Shadow Strike, really?
Yeah.
I do not agree with that choice here. I think that's too greedy. Gee, they're gonna charge Era. There's a power shot as well. It's gonna connect, but that is way, way, way too aggressive from VP. The defensive teleport in from SealKit gonna secure and seal the deal. He will be grabbing that for himself. Easy boots for SealKit early on.
I'm sure Era would have loved the first blood, but you know, it's all good. The boots on your support's very key as well, and they're going right back. I'm not sure if they actually have the mana to do this. There's only one power shot available.
It might be enough. The defensive supports are not going to expect this, so they won't be in position. Oh, there's his bottle coming in. Could be the saving grace as he is going to start bottling up now that the charge is going to connect. Is there going to be a greater bash or not? Not on the first hit. Second hit, also not. He does have the Orb of Venom, however. Oh, there it is!
And they're going to get the kill. DK Phobos losing a ton of health as a result, but looks like Earthshaker does not have mana for another fissure, so he's absolutely fine.
That is such a big kill when you're playing an offlane Spirit Breaker. Being able to kill the mid hero, not only killing him,
he got the solo experience.
He got the solo XP. Yeah. So he's now level 3.5 in that offlane. You compare that to the Dire offlaner in the Quap, who is also level 3.5 actually. So he's caught up entirely to Jonas, who got a lot of experience in the start after all. And Phobos suddenly looking pretty good in this game, getting his boots as well as a result of the kill gold. Jonas is going to have to blink the stun from FNG. He's trying to wait for it. You cannot react fast enough if you're this short away, but he's just going to blink.
The other reason I don't really agree with leveling at the Shadow Strike is that once you get level 6 or 7 as an offlane, you expect to help your... Oh, he's going to get lifted. He's going to get stunned. I don't think he'll die. I say that, though. The double damage is helping out. Whew, blinks away from the last hit, immediately salves. Like, once you're level 6 or 7 and you're joining the fights, your burst damage potential is just your Sonic Wave.
Yeah, I really don't think he's got anything out of the Shadow Strike this game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I think he hit Gyro once or something like that.
He hasn't even pressured Illidan that much, to be honest, and it's just not going to contribute that much in the ganks, like you said, so definitely not a fan of that build in this game. See if he can make it work, however. It is possible. Like, when it comes to the early rotations, like, if he wants to gank as the offlaner at level 3, this build is probably the best. Like, the Shadow Strike has a pretty good damage over time relative to its mana cost, and you can run down heroes for a very long time, but it's just not realistic to find those kind of fights, and he hasn't.
And once again, the picture that you painted was NiP supports rotating around, not getting too much done, and that's exactly what we see, right? Multiple TPs going to the mid lane, helping out the Shadow Fiend, and rightfully so, because he's getting charged, but this is not the NiP game that we saw in Game 1 and Game 2, where they walked around and got a ton of kills.
Their support duo just isn't that great for it, or it's... In a way, it's actually decent, but the counterplay on the bottom lane is very easy from VP. The moment they start moving in with the Quap, they can just lift and throw her away, and then even with the Fissure and the Wyvern coming in, they can probably just reset and calm it down.
Yeah.
And as far as the top lane, he can just charge.
Yeah, you can charge out. Mid lane could just wind run away, so it's just tough for them to find these kills.
It's difficult to gank lanes this game for sure for NiP. But they've got good farm. The Shadow Fiend is looking very good so far. Era 36, 35 on the Slaughter. And then, as far as what follows there, we've got 27 on Wind Rangers. He's 10 behind. Gyro, almost 20 behind the Slaughter at this point, actually. So
how's he actually missing so many last hits?
I'm not sure. That's pretty surprising for me as well. The level 2 Shadow Strike.
No, don't
ruin the lane for him.
Queen of Pain's not even in the lane half the time.
Tribute.
Speaking of Queen of Pain, she's top lane now. Well, you can't cliff jungle with Queen of Pain. Catch up. She's gonna clear the up and starts to roam around to look for the kills. I guess if you're NiP, you're okay.
Oh.
What happened?
That sucks.
I didn't even see it.
Era got his Ring of Aquila destroyed by Rubik, and then he TP'd out.
So remember when the Sand King stole Tranquil Boots yesterday?
Ouch. That is really bad. That's a big part of his... Look at that gold.
And he rebuys it. That's like worse than losing a tower.
These plays are so ridiculously rare. Like, the fact that he sneaks in there and then predicts this play is so ridiculous out of Lil. That is phenomenal.
Reminds me of Soneko and his Winter Wyvern play. Just like camps the mid. For the bottle, but obviously you don't expect that kind of play at 7 minutes in the game. Well, thankfully for Era, Shadow Fiend's one of the heroes that could climb back pretty rapidly,
Yes.
but that's 800 gold off of his mech, for example.
Yes, and he's building the Aquila again, as
Yeah.
it looks. He bought a new Wraith Band as we're going to miss a kill. I'm not sure if that was on camera. I was not looking at this one when Lil went in, but pretty easy to figure out how that happened. The Spirit Breaker charge was on cooldown, so he charges in to get the quap lift into the call down, and easily enough burst damage there. I think not even a stun expended by Wraith King, so...
So
Yeah, this is
Illidan
looking
going
good
for
for VP again.
Helm of Dominator first. Good awareness by NiP, warding off the Ancients, but said looks like we're going to have a little bit of a jungle stacking by a range creep from Illidan in the jungle. A pretty slow game for all intents and purposes. Who does that really favor? I feel like Limp being able to farm this blink unmolested is kind of what NiP wants.
Do you mean uncontested?
Oh, same thing, right?
It just sounds so ruthless. Unmolested and...
Yeah, look at this deny. It's got 34 denies as a slaughter. I'm saying he's totally unmolested.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely good for the slaughter. I think the side of NiP is going to have like a timing window where they're stronger, especially because Wraith King is so low level. FNG only level 2 right now. So when this slaughter gets the blink up, I think it's time for action for NiP. They need to combine with the blink. They need to gank with the slaughter, setting up for sonic waves and of course for shadow raises. Very easy to gank multiple lanes. It solves the problem they have right now, which is when it comes to their supports, they don't gank that well. Slaughter can compensate for it.
FNG almost dying to Ancients. Not sure exactly. Oh, he was dewarding. Okay. Little almost level 6 as well. So if you could find that dying, that would be great for him. But yeah, Limp looking for that blink dagger. It will all come through from him. And honestly, the game where he got it early in against Alliance, he was kind of the MVP for the game. Him and I think the Wisp being played by Hanskin, I want to say.
Yes, absolutely. He's going to use the sprint here, just trying to be a little bit more effective, moving 600. He sprinted to move 600 range right and use a tango. Just really trying to up the farming efficiency, but the camp is blocked.
I think he wanted to get a pull off.
By this time. Oh yeah, that's possible. I don't. Did he actually try for it? Well, the camp wasn't there. What
Yeah,
am I talking
there was
about?
no camp.
Well, he might have tried. You're right. So then it makes a lot more sense.
The key thing is level 6 is also approaching on Spirit Breaker, which really makes life difficult for a hero like Queen of Pain. Normally you rely on Blink to get away, but hard to do that. All right, there's that Blink. Where's that first game coming from? Do they have a smoke ready? Oh, they might find the river now.
And G is posing aggressively here, throwing out the power shot. Gonna hit Hanskin. There's actually Phobos gonna rush in from the side. Gets a bash immediately. They might be able to grab this kill. Nice cold embrace. Out of seal kit will by Hanskin time, but the better shackle shot from G. They lined up perfectly for that one.
They got Blink.
And it might not be over yet.
G is gonna really just take it, and that's gonna be a return kill. I think they got the better trade. Oh, he can't the stun on the low ground. Blink dagger cooling down 2 seconds, but not even necessary. Sonic wave sealing the kill. They're chasing for more. They see Little, and Little's gone. 3 kills immediately. That's exactly what NiP drew it up for when you get the blink on Slaughter. Great play.
That is so important for them. This is going to put Era pretty much back to the net worth he lost earlier. The 1,000 gold he lost from the Aquila is pretty much back in his pocket with that triple kill, and a little bit of a misplay from VP there. They actually got a 1-for-1 trade. They could have taken it, and then they get a little greedy with the Spirit Breaker charging in. He realizes it was not the play, and then he cancels it too late on the low ground and just gets blown up. And NiP getting some very needed gold and experience here, looking to bring it back to even almost.
There is a ward scouting out this charge from VP, so NiP should be able to back it off. Shackle shot barely missing. Hanskin thanking his lucky stars. But where's that Slaughter now? He's teleporting top, looking to fight this.
I think G was spotted by the creep wave, and even if he wasn't, NiP know this is happening. They're reading the map well. Illidan gonna go for Era in the mid lane, doing a lot of damage with the rocket barrage, but Era's fighting back here, does not have the Q raise though, or the Z raise, whatever you prefer to call it. There is Shadow raise mid-range, not enough, and Illidan will get the kill with Phobos. I think, did he even assist that?
I'm not sure. That one point of homing missile helping out there, but Slaughter, here it comes. He's looking for the last hit. He will get it against G. Will he make it out alive? That's the question. FNG looking for the stun. Fissure will hit. Actually blocks him on the other side. DK Phobos charging in. Limp in a lot of trouble.
Oh, the
That's
crush.
a 3-man stun. Can they actually cancel the blink dagger? What did it get stolen? It's just a crush.
It's a fast Rubik.
Oh no, that's a sprint. He's out of there though. How is Limp only 1-0?
Look at Rubik with sprint.
They're charging him.
Uh-oh.
Can he cancel? Oh. Blinks.
That's
they
not
will
really
still
gonna
find
help.
him. Fable. And I think he's dead. Any bashes? All right. They got the crush on Little as well. TP incoming from Arrow.
Oh, that smoke
bricks.
is not useful.
They're gonna try to get out of there. I think they're gonna be surrounded. Do they have Fissure? Fissure perfectly, well, not exactly perfectly, but Little trying to run out of there. There was a big magic wand. DK Phobal will die as a result. Johannes Fan coming in. He won't have Shadow Strike, but he will have a Scream. Little getting a stun onto 2, but looks like the Fissure hits onto 3. Little making them work for this. They even bring. Is he actually gonna survive? No, the Fissure.
What a god, though.
Finally brings him down.
You would have survived that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous presence of mind in that fight.
And brought them a lot of time.
Definitely a Rubik expert, and it sets up for an easy kill on Hanskin here for Illidan. Actually, never mind.
He could TP out. No, his clarity got canceled.
He's stuck there.
They need like a power shot, but G's not in range at all.
Radiant's
He's just like, can I just get my mana to TP?
Help.
He's reshining. Alright, I'll make it. Mid lane gotta be careful. Now Limp is gonna get charged.
Oh, I mistimed the crush.
Not gonna get it. Do they have to lift to follow up? They will lift him back, but looks like he doesn't have the crush. But there is a Nether Strike.
Fast Rubik again. Running away.
It looks so funny with that animation. All right, so what is Limp going for next? Or rather, what does he need next? It feels like he's constantly being initiated on. His health pool is not enough. Is it straight up BKB? Or are we seeing some sort of a kind of a smaller item first?
I think BKB for sure. There's no better choice. I think Loda, who plays a lot of Slaughter, likes going a lot for Vanguard. I don't think that's the solution in this game. There's quite a lot of spell damage. Even though you block quite a bit, you're still fighting him to call down Rocket Barrage, Power Shot, Nether Strike, Stun from Wraith King, even the Fade Bolt. There's just so much nuke damage and so much control. But with a BKB, they have like no solution whatsoever. They have a Nether Strike as the only thing that really is going to be a problem. So that would definitely be my preferred choice for Limp here.
Any possibility of an armlet? It's an item that we don't see too often.
That could be cute and cool at the same time. Could be a nice item, actually. It is very good, but you need to... It's one of those items where you need to be, you know... You need to practice with the item for it to be good, right? In a different way than other items. It's one that comes down a lot to player preference. And I don't recall seeing Limp ever get an armlet. And you need to be very comfortable with that item to buy it against this caliber of players.
Well, we'll see if... shortly, we'll see what item he's going to go for. But now we're kind of, again, going back to a slow farming phase. Now that Limp is not ganking. But looks like I think G might be the target. This ward makes him think he's safe. But if he breaks a smoke with the high ground vision, he should be fine. He's going to go into the river now. Johannes Van D warding there.
Yeah, they were looking for the smoke gank, I think. Oh, wait a second. Mid lane era. Gonna get charged. There's a homing missile as well.
He's got mech, though. He's very tanky. And now they're going to use the ultimate on G. Do they have what it takes to follow up? Here comes the Slaughter. No, he wants Illidan instead. The Razors will hit. And the Fissure gets 2. No,
get out of mid lane.
Gets the kill there. Another double for him. He's really rich now. What is he going for next? BKB as well?
On which hero?
On Shadow Fiend.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, Slaughter looking for more Limp, initiating for himself, but FNG a lot of trouble. He will reincarnation, but I don't think they really care. Sonic Requiem with Black Souls is gonna bring him down really low. FNG's gonna get Echo as well. Magic Wand keeping him alive, but Limp coming down here to get the kill. NiP is really controlling this early game, but looks like they're gonna lose Limp. No, he's gonna get healed up. They have Pulse Embrace as well. No, DK Phobos just Nether Strikes and get the kill. Handskin is gonna get lifted up. He doesn't have Blink nearly yet, and he's gonna get burned down by Little. Good return kills here from Virtus.pro. Unfortunately, they're getting it from like the off lane and the supports, and not necessarily on the Gyrocopter and G.
Arrow's getting big. That's pretty much the conclusion of all of these fights. He is getting so much farm. Closing in on a BKB already with his mech. Looking very, very good for him. Just imagine if he hadn't lost his Aquila earlier. He would have had 1,000 gold more. He would have had the BKB by now almost. Yeah. But still, it's going to be a pretty good timing regardless. Want to say the Slaughter, we were questioning it a bit, I think. I'm not sure if you were. I wasn't at least sure how useful the Slaughter was going to be in this game, but Limp seems very comfortable on this hero and being the initiator for the team. So it might be the right approach for them to be able to take a game off VP as the charge is going to connect on Jonas and Fawn. They're going to try to turn it around here. Era is on the way in with his Shadow Fiend. Invisibility has been popped, so they probably don't know he's there. Just going to disengage regardless as they were not able to grab that kill.
Limp, unfortunately, during that engagement, he ported top, and then he just like sprinted all the way across the map trying to join the fight, but the fight never broke out. Looks like he is going to pick up the Ogre Club for now. BKB is going to be his choice. The Force Staff, much...
Oh, they knew he was there, actually. They put down the sentry. Bye-bye. Very swift kill onto Era.
That's a big kill to slow him down.
Gold goes to Illidan.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he's out for 50. Slows him down very nicely, and they might even go for more. Okay, that is a great foe. All right.
I wonder now with that death, he's going to regret that choice of Yasha. SMY being a fairly strong mid-game item, and he, to be honest, I think he's tanking enough to survive these fights with an SMY. But BKB, obviously the much safer choice.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Illidan is probably going to prefer SNY here, first off. He should be getting it. If they get the last hit on the tower, that is enough for it. He does. Let's see what his choice is. If he wants to SNY, he'll bite now.
I meant Shadow Fiend.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
they're both going for the same items. I think with the mech, the Shadow Fiend could get away with the SNY. But we'll see.
I'm not sold on this.
Call down's going to be used here. Fissure could be the initiation tool. They do get him up, and the stun to follow through.
Is screwed.
He is also dead. And Era getting these kills, and now they're going to try to get that T1 down. I don't think VP could defend with the Gyro dead and call down on cooldown.
This tower looks to definitely be taking a fall. They're trying to trade in mid as they're going to charge an illusion. Lil does find Seal Kid. He's going to steal Fissure, actually. Very valuable steal. You're going to get a two-man Fissure as well, but he's staying alive because of Cold Embrace. Now the turnaround is going to come in. Limp onto FNG. They're going to Fissure on the other side, though, so FNG actually still gets to play hero for a bit. Might even survive because they Fissured on the other side, and Phobos still going strong. Nice Echo Slam, though, coming in from Hunskin, and they're going to be able to take that kill, making it a 1-0.
Chasing for more. The Fissure on Little. He actually blocks Limp out of it. And Sonic Wave just to get the Rubik. Are they going to go into Roshan Pit for this? One of the things that NiP can do with so much minus armor, but looks like their health is just too low for that.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And what's coming in for Era is now the question. You were talking about the SNY. He's got the gold for the Ogre Club. He's going to buy that now, keeping his options open at least. He might have already decided, but we obviously don't know yet. For the Gyro, out of Illidan, he went for Yasha into BKB, but he only has the Mithril Hammer for now, so it's going to be another 1,500 gold before he gets there. And that is, until that happens, I think NiP's fights are just flat out stronger.
Yeah.
They need to keep taking advantage of the fact that Gyro is an easy target, and the moment Slara jumps him, he dies every fight, so. I'm
also very concerned about DK Phobos' item progression, because essentially he's the suicidal initiator now. He's just charging in, he's for sure dying every single fight. And it's not like he's picking up an Ogre Club into the BKB, and honestly, I think he will continue to die. If you look at the item output from the Queen of Pain, who's going for an Agadams now, we really wasn't sure what his mid-game impact was, but if you look at his score, that's all you could really ask for. 216 on an offlane that had a difficult laning stage.
He's definitely been making the most out of very little space in this game on the Queen of Pain, so I would agree. Being level 11 as well at this point is very important, of course, for Jonas.
You know, looking at like these 3 games or 2.5 games so far from NiP, in multiple segments, I feel like they have outplayed Virtus.pro.
Absolutely. But when it mattered the most, they fell short in every game.
Yeah.
And that point is still going to come. Like, they've managed to accumulate a lead once again. And now they're going for their smoke, which I think a lot of the time has actually worked against them in the games they've played, but this one might work for them. They're going to jump in on Phobos. He's about to charge, does not get it off. Shackle onto Limp, but they've already lost Phobos. They got to get the hell out of here. Or maybe not, actually.
They got mech, and now Era wants to fight this. Era gets stunned up, but what an ultimate. It's a stolen, though. It is stolen. It's going to go on Era. Era's going to die as a result. Shaker's low there, and FNG, he's got reincarnation. He doesn't even care. It's going to be a 4-man kill so far. Johannes fan will have Blink in 3 seconds. Will there be a Shackle? Not even necessary. Like you said, these smoke ganks are just not working out for NiP. And Spiritbreaker still dies because he's in the middle of the fights. Can they get the Roshan, though?
That was a really important Wyvern ult steal, I think, if that doesn't happen. And the fact that NiP, you see, now Queen's ult is off cooldown. They chose to smoke right before the quap ult was available. If that's the, they actually, like, that's
they
the
probably
difference.
win the fight.
They
Yeah.
don't just win the fight, they roll them. But quap comes in late, doesn't have Sonic Wave. That is not the time you want to make this aggressive play. I get where they're coming from. They want to take advantage of their lead. They want to pressure, because if the gank is successful, they also get Roche. But wait until you have all your ultimates, especially such an important one as the Sonic Wave.
Yeah, I really, by the way, love the item choice of G. The 4-star first, kind of like an old school way to play Windrunner on the off lane, but in this game, very much so necessary. Helping our allies, who's getting fissure, who's getting crushed. And now, can they catch anybody? In fact, G is completely spotted out. He will have the 4-staff available. And
fissure.
Yeah, but he goes on the other side. He should
I don't think they're done.
Well, Lim's chasing in, but there's a Windrun already used. Call down, that's going to zone people out. Hits on actually 2.
Oh, Jonas, that's way too over-aggressive for his own good.
That's going to force Lim to go back in, but BKB delivered,
nice
already
fissure.
finished, and that's going to zone the rest of the team out. Lim in a lot of trouble. He's already in sprint form, so he's taking a ton of damage as well. Virtus.pro making a lot of this, and you know, Hanskin going to make the TP out, but that's 2 more kills going on the side of Virtus.pro.
They just lost their entire lead and more.
Yeah.
And the Aegis wasn't even claimed in that fight, so Illidan still got that in his inventory. He might even he actually overtook Era. I thought Era was still ahead, but 1500 advantage already going the way of the Gyro. And when you see Shadow Fiend versus Gyro matchups in these high competitive games, generally the Shadow Fiend will have higher net worth. He just farms that bit faster, they stack for him well. Gyro can definitely keep up, but most of the time the tendency has been in Shadow Fiend's favor, not this game though.
Well, you got to keep in mind that he did lose 1,000 gold.
Absolutely, that is true.
The ring.
Yes.
And it looks like the Sun's going to come in. Nice fissure, kind of blocking them out. Team is coming in, though. They need Lim to actually provide the stun. Hanskin in a lot of trouble. Here comes the stun. Can they kill him twice? That's the question. It looks like there's no Virtus.pro players really in the vicinity. They are going to kill him twice.
What are they doing up here?
And that's a pretty big Requiem. And
bye, Illidan.
There you go. Well, actually, they want to refight this. Here comes Little with a stolen Steel Kid ultimate, but Crush is going to miss as a result. In fact, he's going to go back in. No, he's so amped. I'm not sure if Little wanted to fight in there with amp. Looks like Winter River is going to go down in the background. Era doing so much with this raises. FNG's going to go down as well. He doesn't have his ult. Limp, yeah, with the amp. And suddenly this game is back in the favor of NiP.
That was absurd. They fought next to a tier 2 tower with a 2-man gank. And NiP easily made quick work of them there with some defensive TPs.
And now Shadow Fiend finished his BKB, so suddenly he's pretty unkillable, honestly.
VP showing some weakness. I think that's the worst play we've seen out of them all tournament. That one engage was the biggest mistake they've made so far, and NiP, they're back in it.
I mean, to be fair, I think with the Nether Strike completed and Rocket Barrage and a call down, those 2 heroes could get a kill very quickly. But against a lineup that has a Slardar, making your escape plan is the other thing, right? Like, how are they going to actually make it out of the jungle?
By having the team on backup?
I guess so.
That's generally the way you do that. And yeah, they do pay. You see the gold heading back down to 0 lead. Same for the experience. That was about a 2K fight for NiP. Pretty good stuff for them. And most importantly, quite a bit of that gold went on to Hanskin, who's now going to grab his Blink Dagger in a moment. And if they can get a good surprise fight with the Blink without showing it, they might be able to take another fight of the same caliber.
Yeah, the other thing is that now Aghanim Scepter is finished on Queen of Pain, so that's going to be yet another problem for Illidan, who currently is having a good game. I remember the game 1, he was just kind of dying non-stop, which gave NiP a big chance, and I think he's going to start dying a little bit more in these fights now. Sonic Wave is most likely going to be pointed to his face.
How's he going to solve it? Are we going to see a damage build or more of a tanky? I think this game is actually a really good game for a hero like Gyrocopter to get Scotty. He needs the health, he needs the armor against the Slardar. It's like a hybrid solution to 2 problems at once. If he goes fully out on damage, he is just an extreme glass cannon that NiP have a lot of tools to deal with. If he goes for the full tankiness, he doesn't pose enough of a threat, especially not against Cold Embrace. So you want a little bit of everything, and that's where I think Scotty would be a very nice pickup for Illidan. We're going to see if that's going to be his choice. He does try to go for something like MKB into Satanic. That, of course, also gives damage and tankiness. It's just a little bit more expensive of a build-up. Yeah. But, of course, gives more of everything than Scotty does.
Unfortunately, Scotty, before you complete it, it's just a lot of gold sunk into items that don't do anything apart from giving you basic stats. NiP looking for yet another smoke, but fighting in this open ground. Let's see. Well, I think the power shot canceled the blink dagger. Looking for more. They will get G. I'm not sure if they can follow up on this. They have Sonic Wave available. Nice force up. The Fissure will hit, and now Johannes Fan gets lifted up, and Nether Strike as well. The call down will seal the deal.
And they actually used Cold Embrace and he still dies, so that is not available right now. Hanskin needs to find a way to blink out of here. Actually, maybe they just managed to disengage entirely. No, they don't. The power shot.
And now they actually got Cold Embrace. That's a big deal against NiP.
Absolutely. That is a very valuable steal against any lineup that's playing minus armor. Cold Embrace is such a hard counter. Fairly low cooldown, and NiP very much based on the Slaughter and the Shadow Fiend right-clicking, especially come the next 5 minutes of the game. That's going to be way more important than it used to be earlier. The steal from Lil could make a big difference. And he's got it for a good... How long does he have it for? Another 3.5 minutes. If he doesn't die.
Era picking up a blink dagger from himself. This is pretty curious to me because I feel like he already has a ton of setup from his ally. The blink crush, the fissure. But he feels like he needs a little bit more to...
Oh, this is another good item. Yeah, I like this choice, actually, from Illidan. I am very rarely a fan of Manta on Gyro. But when you're playing against amplified damage, he's going to BKB and they're going to amp him up. And then he can break the amp as well with Manta. I think that's the... It might not be the only reason he's getting it, but I really doubt he would get it if it wasn't for amp.
Yeah, I mean, having it against Shadow Strike is also removing it slow is just a small, nice benefit. Now, NiP moving together as a group. I mean, why do you think that NiP is failing these smoke ganks? You pointed out how NiP didn't have Sonic Wave in the one, I think 2 smokes ago. But it feels like they just see a kill, but either they're overcommitting for it or they're just not respecting the defensive aspect of Virtus.pro.
It's just that NiP's lineup is built up of quite a few abilities that either have a high cooldown or are very hard to land multiple times in a row. So, for example, the Fissure, 15-second cooldown, they use it on the gank. They blink Crush with Slaughter on one hero, and then sure, Crush is a low cooldown on 8 seconds, but he needs to reach the second one, and that's the tricky part. So when their lineup engages into a fight, and in addition to that, by the way, Shadow Fiend has very minimal mobility until he now has the Blink Dagger that I believe he did not have in that fight. So they're very limited if they only find 1 kill. If they find 2, they can just snowball off it. But in that case, it actually worked the way they wanted it to. They found the kill and the team fight broke out, but they didn't have Sonic. So it really is that simple. With Sonic Wave, that fight is just a win.
Yeah, and I think a big part of this is also Lil outplaying them, like stolen Winter Riven Ultimate, stolen Fissures. I mean, it's a great pick in this game for that reason, but he's also really excelling his performance. And yet another smoke coming into the jungle of Virtus.pro. They will see Storm Rage.
That's a good pick.
And can they burst them down? Yes, they will. Immediately dead. Little's in the middle of it as well. Shackle Shot hitting onto 2 hero. DK Football completing the charge. I'm not sure if he wants to do that because Blink Dagger's coming off cooldown on Limp very soon. Well, nice defensive play here by the Winter River. They're now going on to GG. It's going to go down. Well, actually, no, he pops the Wind Run. Fissure is going to hit, and now the Nether Strike's going to come off. Yeah, another charge as well. Limp will have those cooldown. Like you said, the cooldown of that Crush really helping them out, and that's going to be a 4 for nothing, soon to be 5 for nothing, because FNG, he does have to blame mail, but not going to use it. A team wipe going for NiP. Roshan not spawning anytime soon.
If they open on Gyro and blow him up like that, the fight is over. VP needs to just get the hell out of there, but they tried to turn the fight around, and they end up kind of similar to that gank they did in the top lane where they just end up continuing or completing a charge that is pretty much hopeless, and they think they can turn the fight around where they're extremely far behind. And NiP just take massive advantage of that beautiful engagement from Limp and Era there, blowing up the Gyro from full health. And then the fight is just an easy 5-0 for them.
Yeah, the key factor was also that Rubik was caught in the tail end of that fight. The Fissure kind of blocked him out from his escape path, so we didn't see any big play from Little, and without that, I think VP loses a lot. Also, FNG, the blade mail is nice if they're focusing on him, but I feel like NiP will just mostly ignore him for these fights. I feel like they will really appreciate a Blink Dagger on FNG to really jump in and counter-initiate.
100% agree. I think this is a very weak item on support Wraith King in general. Because the reason you often see, especially in pub games, core Wraith Kings getting Blade Mail is that they are able to put out so much pressure because of their farm at the point in time they get the item that the enemy team have to react. You can't just ignore him. So either you have to take some damage from the Blade Mail for locking him down with your damaging stuns, or you have to try to run, in which case he gets another free stun off.
Right.
But when you're a support, minute 30 with a Blade Mail, no one gives a shit. Like, just, what are, oh, you're blade milling? Fine. Well, we really don't want to kill you anyway. We actually want to kill your entire team first because you're not really doing anything. So I 100% in agreement. I think Blink Dagger would have been better. I think Vlad's would have been better. They do have that on the Spirit Breaker, however, so probably not going to be.
I mean, even Drums would be.
Drums would have been better
for the team.
100% agreed. He could have also gone for like a medallion into Solar Crest. Something like that, like some sort of utility that benefits his team.
Yeah, and the item disparity on the supports are starting to shape up as Hanskin working on his 4-staff. Seal Kid somehow actually has found himself a Glimmer Cape, which now we're looking at magic, well, not immunity, but close to it. And then Cole's Embrace for physical damage to block. He could keep his allies alive for a long time.
And NiP got the gold lead again. Yeah. Took them a little while, but they've managed to pull it back entirely. This game is really hanging in the balance right now. There's like no clear advantage for either side.
It's really a clowny game as well. Era loses his ring early on, and then there's a random 2-man gang from Virtus.pro and random team-wise back and forth. But right now, it's a double damage Era going into the pit, and there's no vision from Virtus.pro.
You'll watch this Roche die very quickly. It's going to take them about 10 seconds to bring it down. Amplify damage is level 2. Double damage on Era. Easy kill.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about the Manta style on Illidan, and as nice of an item it is in this game, it really paints a problem of he just needs a lot. He needs damage and survivability. And Manta's the halfway point, but it also doesn't give him much of anything. Era blinks forward just into the enemy team. He's not really caring because he's got the double damage and, more importantly, the BKB as well as the Aegis. Blink forward right now. Limp popping his BKB, and here comes the ultimate from the Winter River, but Limp taking way more damage. He gets healed up, but no, the stolen ult.
Again!
Era's now attacking Limp, but it looks like he's going to be alive for now. Let's see if they're going to re-engage to protect that Shadow Fiend. I think they have to. Shadow Fiend comes back alive. No Shackle Shot to meet him up just yet. Era down to about half HP. Limp blinks back in, but he's taking so much damage. Requiem gets cancelled by the homing missile. DK Fobo charging in. He doesn't have Nether Strike for this. FNG still on the back line, dropping the stun. We'll find Johannes fan. Can he blink out? He does have blink available, but no, the mini stun. Can he blink? The crit just brings him down, and somehow, some way, Virtus.pro wins the fight through Aegis of a Shadow Fiend. He was never able to channel that Sonic Requiem with Black Souls. I think that was really what the lacking aspect was.
These team fights are so unpredictable. Like, the way they're engaging, the way they use their spells, it's just... I want to say every single time VP win a fight, it's because of a big play from Lil. Like, every single time. Once again, the Wyvern ultimate steal is what saves them. If he does not have it at that point in time, I think it's a 3, if not a 4-0 for NiP. And they just don't seem to get the good opening that they're looking for. I feel like the Sonic waves in the fights are coming pretty late. Like, they're not coming in combination with the opening. Generally, you want to blink stun with Starter into maybe a fissure and then a 2-hero Sonic wave. I'm not sure if Jonas is trying to be a little bit, if he's being too conservative and too ambitious, looking for like 3 or 4 heroes, because it's really not necessary. The only thing that matters is that they get ahead in the fight, and it's going to snowball by itself. Like, they've got so good chasing potential between Wyvern and Slaughter. Even the fissure of Shaker with Blink Force Staff, VP don't get out if they're behind. I
absolutely agree. I mean, even the fact that just seeing the big animation on the screen and forcing VP to run, your team is so good at chasing. I also think that, is it perhaps just mistakes? We've seen a lot of stolen Winter River and ults, not just in this game, but in the tournament in general. I feel like you have so many ways to just cast a spell. Should he maybe even hold Arctic Burn just to cast his ultimate and immediately Arctic Burn to not get his ultimate taken away? Because I feel like if you give that ultimate just 1 or 2 more times, the game just could go towards VP's side.
Yeah, I think that's one way of doing it. The other one is to use it in combination with Glimmer Cape, so the Rubik's timing window is extremely short, where he can steal it. But then, of course, you've used a Glimmer Cape for that, and then you can't use it to save an ally, so it's kind of a greedy play in that sense. But 100% sure, he needs to make that. He needs to make sure that doesn't get stolen by the Rubik, and it's been happening way too much.
Yeah. Another way they could approach a fight is, instead of initiating on the gyro, as we see a charge up top, they could do it on the Rubik instead. Era in a lot of trouble now. He blinks away, not activating his BKB just yet. DK Phobos is going to Nether Strike, but where is his team? In fact, his team is being really busied up by the rest of NiP. Call down will hit, and it looks like Steel Kid, well, he has the Nether Glimmer Cape, but he doesn't make it out alive. They lose just the Winter Riverin. I'm not sure if VP could make a play off of this. Looks like they're going to just farm the enemy jungle.
See. All right, that's... I thought the BKB exchange was favoring NiP, but it was 1 for 1. So just a clear win for VP there. They exchange a BKB charge on Slaughter for 1 on the gyro. And looks like Illidan is indeed going to go for the Scotty build. I'm not sure if you mentioned it. It's either that or the Lincolns, which I think is overkill. Like,
Yeah.
he already has the Manta for the amp. Now he doesn't need a Lincolns on top of it. Oh, look at Ruby. Look at those attacks. That looks amazing.
Yep. They're zoning them
1,000
out.
attack range. Or actually more, 1,175.
Blink Crush is going to open things up, but he didn't BKB.
That's the kind of Sonic Wave that could work with the Echo as well.
Is that enough, though? DK Phobos, he has a BKB on the front line. He's just bashing Limp up. Limp, he's not going to make it home. Here comes Seal Kid. He does provide a little bit of healing, but where's that ultimate? No, it looks like it's already on cooldown from the last fight. Hanskin barely making out a fight. Limp re-engages after a buyback. Illidan's really low. He pops a BKB. Limp, he can't die back. He died back. That's looking really bad for NiP as Era now being driven back as well. He gets healed up once again by Seal Kid. Johannes fans coming back in. He does not have Sonic Wave, but he will have it very, very soon. And this team fight looks like it's going to last a little bit. Great force tap coming out from G. FNG's out of there. Will he die to the poison?
Radiant's top tower.
Okay, he's going to get denied from it. And double gem hits the deck. Everybody pick one up for yourself. It's a yard sale. All right.
Or just give both to Phobos, because why not?
Is under attack.
How many buybacks was expended
Only
by
one.
NiP?
Only the Slaughter. But still, yeah, the engage they got there, the Blink Crush into two-man Sonic Wave was pretty good, but they didn't combine it with the Shaker fast enough. So when he came in for the Echo Slam, I think 1 or 2 BKBs on VP side were already used, and they got to spread out a little bit. And again, a key ability on cooldown, once again, when NiP take the fight. They do not have the Winter's Curse, which could definitely have impacted that fight in a very big way for them.
Yeah, that one's
And
the
they
more...
did lose that fight.
That one's more excusable because they were not the one choosing the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, the game, I don't want to say it's perfectly balanced because now, I think especially with FNG picking up Blink Dagger, Wraith King suddenly becomes a hero again, and now the Blade Mail is extremely good on the hero.
He has a much better chance at making it relevant now that he can actually just decide to run into spells, or blink into spells that he sees being charged up.
Also, with DK Phobos having his BKB, suddenly you have two very beefy strength hero on the front line, and honestly, NiP aren't at the point where they could just right-click him down. Eventually, it will get to a point with amplified damage, but right now, I feel like Shadow Fiend still... If you see a Spear Breaker charging in, all he could do is blink back and run. I don't think he could just face it straight up yet.
I'd agree with that. Let's see what Era does here, actually. He might go for... Okay, we're going to hear a Sonic Wave just clearing out the wave here for Jonas. Yes. He does have the Axe, which only 40-second cooldown. There's the Scotty for Era. That's what I was thinking. He had the mana or the gold for Manta for quite a while, didn't complete it, so had to be a Scotty build-up with his orb. And he's pretty tanky now.
Yeah.
The question is if it's enough. So the damage starting to come out from G is going to be devastating when he gets this Daedalus that he's closing in on. And the Scotty for Illidan is very close to completion as well. 350 gold to go for him. He's just missing the point booster, sitting on 850 gold.
I feel like despite all of these items coming out, which is definitely very important for the game, but I'm just more and more worried as the game progresses on, because this is the stage where I feel like Virtus.pro would take over from the experience factor.
Yes, they just seem to play better.
Yeah,
in the mid-lane.
the game has always gotten to this, and NiP either is very even or they even had the lead, but the fights are not going their way. The smokes, unfortunately, are not going their way. And every time they're out their base, I'm like, oh no, be careful, guys. NiP, of course, is facing elimination as they don't have any more games to give in the Best of 5 series.
Another item we didn't mention, by the way, Lil almost has his Aghanims. I don't think we talked about that one.
That's...
He's 450 gold away at this point, and there are a lot of good spells to steal. Axe upgraded Echo Slam is not the greatest. It is very good with Sonic Wave, however. As actually, interestingly enough, there's only 2 Aghanim Scepters upgrades in the game on the dire side as we're starting
Hanskin trying to blink away from that charging, and he stole Fissure again. Uh-oh, he's dead.
Not the best of combo plays here.
Well,
he's actually going to survive.
Will he though? FNG blinks back in. It's going to have to take a lot of damage as a result. Pops up the blame of the Shackle Shot hits too. Hanskin behind Limp. Fissure is going to come through again. He'll back off.
I think Lil really doesn't want to spell steal again. This is the best spell in the game for him right now. If he does, it's because he has Fissure on cooldown and can get Curse. Else I think he should just more or less hold on to this.
If he gets Requiem.
Or Requiem, yeah. I was about to
good.
say that would be good too.
Or maybe even something like Wave. But
judging from the last fights, that Requiem tends to not get off. So.
Yeah, that's really the issue. I almost feel like maybe he should stay on the back line to channel that Requiem. The damage is not impressive, but just having the slow having the damage reduction is really nice.
And here we go again.
So normally when a team smokes, they win. But with NiP, you don't know what's going to happen. Here we go.
This could be a good opening if Starter gets the blink he's looking for.
Windrun is used. The Crush barely finds G, and they're all coming in Sonic Wave Fissure. Everything will connect, and they will bring down G instantaneously, but he buys back, and this fight could go really ugly now with Storm Rage just in the center of the fight. Now Era being stunned up. He's being healed up by his allies. His allies are very low as well. Johannes fan bringing back in FNG, not canceling that Requiem, doing so much damage. Illidan down to about half HP. He's amped up. He's going to go down as well. FNG now reincarnates. Can they get off the shackle? No, they won't. Limp is trying to make it out. It's a stolen Requiem by Little, doing so much damage. Can they pick off more? They really need to after expending that buyback onto G.
Oh, what
he gets
an
a lucky Invis. Do they have any detection?
There's a gem on
They have like
FNG.
multiple gems.
But they're gonna reach. Oh, this is bad news for Era.
I don't think, yeah, he has no BKB, no blink, he's dead.
Lil again with the steals. And this is the story of a lot of NiP smokes. They find one kill, they commit super hard on it. They use so many things.
But that's their team, right? They have to commit on these.
And it just buys back. Like, so the thing is, this fight takes place here, right? It takes place down at the. I'm not sure if you can see that on the map right now, but I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why that drawing isn't going. Well, you remember where the fight took place anyway. So, the distance to a tower for VP is pretty short. If that fight takes place on NiP's side of the map, they run over VP. But he can buy back on the Wind Ranger, come back in pretty quickly, and have a very major impact. That's the risk you run when you smoke in and the fight takes place so close to a tower.
And a big part of that was if NiP could not only kill the Wind Ranger, force a buyback, if they could kill one more hero, they could generally win the fight as well. But the call down it was on that hill. It hit almost everybody, or at least zoned them away from the rest of the fight. And suddenly NiP is lost and confused. And once Wind Ranger buys back, that's just, you know, too much stunning, too much chase, too much damage.
This is a really big play if they could get it. Just 20 seconds on Shadow Fiend.
I feel like NiP knows, though. Yeah, there's... Oh, they're not doing anything about it. If they get the Aegis on Gyro, I don't know. Or maybe on the Wind Ranger.
I think Wind Ranger.
Yeah, she's freeing up a slot, so... Yeah,
she's pretty fragile and tends to be the target of NiP, it seems. Going a lot on G in these fights. Gyro is very tanky already, so he probably doesn't need it. There we go. It's going to go on G.
Alright, and that's Cheese as well, I believe.
Oh, I think that was the second, wasn't it?
And the FNG has the Cheese.
Oh, really? It was the third? Oh, yeah, NiP did it early because of the Slaughter.
Illidan will pick up the Cheese. Ooh, now with Aegis and Cheese, I'm not sure if... Because NiP has this kind of lineup where when they initiate, they go, and it's a war of attrition almost. Slaughter's tanking a lot, but he's also dealing out a lot. And it's hard to outlast a team that has Aegis and Cheese with this particular lineup, I think.
Here comes G. They will not have a lot of time to think about this. They need to glyph that or just let it go. And they're going to glyph it when it drops really low. Questionable to let him do so much damage first before they protect it.
I mean, he's got the Aghanims. The cooldown is so short. He's back again. Well, the Crush is going to meet him halfway, but immediately he gets back up. Great Fissure, though, blocking out the rest of the team. DK Phobos will charge through, but Limp on the backline. He gets lifted out. He's dead. Illidan still being blocked out by the Fissure. Right now, Sealkit protecting himself a little bit, but he's dead as well. FNG still has Reincarnate, so he doesn't really care. Where's that big echo? We're looking for it. He blinks in. He echoes on everybody. Era's going to try to combine up with the Requiem as well. Unfortunately, he's not on full souls, so that Requiem not really doing too much. Illidan on the front line. He's got Cheese. He's not really too worried, but Little, he is going to Requiem. He is going to hit on Era, and Era, he's dead. Does he have buyback?
He does, but the two others don't. Both Starter and Wyvern cannot return to the fight. It's still just going to be a 5-on-3. And Era now with even less souls. He's down to 11. Will really be doing significantly less damage as now they're going to pick up Hanskin as well, who does not have buyback. This is easily 2 lanes of Rax, and
I don't know.
hate to say it, but it seems like it's just... I've seen this movie so many times before with NiP in this tournament against Virtus.pro, and it's the expected sequel. GG!
GG being called. NiP will go home as third place in front of their home crowd. Well played in terms of really putting up a fight against Virtus.pro. I don't think anybody... I mean, people expected the 3-0, but they didn't expect this kind of 3-0. They expected 20-minute GGs from NiP, but... And again, there were very many moments of brilliance where I think they were playing better than Virtus.pro. But like you said, when the moment that counts, they just can't pull it off.
It's just the composure in team fights. Virtus.pro just have superior movement, superior mechanics actually, especially the Rubik of Lil in this game, as I pointed out countless times, playing an incredible game. And I think going forward to the grand final, let's think about that for a bit. So VP do 3-0 NiP, which is of course impressive, but they showed moments of weakness in some of the games that I think, especially in this game, they had two situations where they actually gave NiP a full 5-0 fight. They dove at the top tier 2 tower and got killed off a couple of heroes for no reason, and it turned into a really bad fight for them as well, and they still won. So the question is, when they go up against Na'Vi, are they going to make similar mistakes? And can they still win when they do that? Or are they going to bring their absolute A game? Because then I think this finals could be really, really close.
Well, they're winning a lot off the outplays of Little. You got to keep Na'Vi would also bring those kind of plays. They have playmakers on Sonico, on the Rubik or Winter Rhythms. So I don't think you could just simply rely on outplaying. They got to definitely clean up the game, like you said, but I also think that they realized there was a mistake charging in there. And they realized maybe it wasn't the right choice to commit. Remember the fight where Gyro got blown up and the rest of the team tried to still fight into that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they realized that was a mistake as well. So I think it's kind of good that they made the mistakes now, because I don't think they would make the same kind of mistakes going into the grand finals.
I agree. I think they're definitely going to take... Like, they're going to be happy with their win, of course, but I think they're not satisfied, especially, or not especially, but with Game 3, I think they're not satisfied with some of the mistakes they made, and they're going to... Maybe it's just when they put Phobos... It seems to me that when Phobos plays another hero than, Darkseer and Centaur, they're a little less certain about how they play their game. We saw him on Kunkka. That game was not good against Na'Vi yesterday. We've seen him on Spirit Breaker now. They won, but still a little more shaky. So maybe that's something for Na'Vi to take from the series, that maybe banning out Phobos as key 2 heroes is a good way of approaching the series. I
mean, if you compare Centaur and Darkseer, these heroes are more certain with their initiation. But, well, we could see what Na'Vi will do in a couple hours. But for now, let's send it to a winner's interview with Jess as he talks to the winners and the losers.
Thank you, Lumi. And wow, what an amazing series that was, taking the games 3-0, and especially with God feeling sick during that game too. How are you feeling right now?
We're feeling okay. We just played 3 games. We need to play 3 more at least, so we're okay.
Well, getting more into the actual kind of meat of the games, in Game 1, you guys picked up a Winter Wyvern, which I believe was the first time we've seen her drafted by a team other than Na'Vi. Can you explain the reasoning for picking her up?
Maybe in this tournament they drafted Winter Wyvern, but I believe that I played Winter Wyvern a week ago than they did. So I think there's just good heroes that we like to play with.
Then during Game 2, well, first of all, is G feeling any better? I know he mentioned he was very sick.
He feels bad still, but I hope that he will be okay until final starts.
I hope so too. Mad respect to him for giving it his all. As Lumi said, it doesn't look like he's sick. He's playing like he's wicked sick. I also wanted to ask about the fact that NiP were playing very well. They were taking a bunch of team fights. Their score was seemed to be in the lead for the entire game, and in fact, I believe they had more kills than your team at the end of the match. Yet you guys still just pushed in and were able to take that win. What do you think was the key for taking the win in Game 2?
I think our draft was better in mid-game and late game, and it was really weak in early game. That's why we're always losing early game. Maybe we will do better, but I think we won, so what can I say? We just won game. Everything is okay.
And finally, it's been a very long series, very long tournament so far, and now it's not quite over yet. You do have to face up against Na'Vi. Are you prepared for another best of 5?
Yes. We are already, we're just, okay, we need to play tomorrow 2 best of 5s. Okay, less time to sleep. All team didn't sleep. Maybe we slept overall like for 6 hours, I think. Someone not sleeping at all, so I hope that we will do great.
You guys are playing very well, you know, despite not sleeping very much. Best of luck to you. Hopefully you can catch some rest after the next series. For now, we are going to go ahead and throw it to another commercial break, and after that, we'll be back with Shiver and the Analyst Desk.